never a doubt. You're worth a fortune to me.
So much for the fit. What's up, guys? Got some Battlefront, some old clips, some new clips, and we got some Rogue One news. And it kind of raises a question that I wanted to do a video about for a while. And I'll get into that in a second, but we'll cover the Rogue One news first. Now, these are assorted clips. Gonna be a little Empire, go to the dark side, and this is all Hoth, Twilight, and the base Hoth map. Little mix of Supremacy and Walker Assault, just to kind of keep it exciting and such. Try to do, and there goes my thermal, the big boom, and the kills. And we're gonna come right out, take this point, and this is gonna be a pretty good game if I remember right, even though we were outnumbered. But let's get right into it. There's some Rogue One news out. Disney has ordered reshoots, several weeks of reshoots. News stories. Now, reshoots are really something that's really common. Any big blockbuster, AAA title essentially is going to have reshoots. It's put into the schedule. It's put into people's contracts. It's expected. Every Star Wars movie has always had reshoots. And so it's like the normal progression. Oh, hero pickup. I think I would go with Palpatine. Yes.
I will show them the true nature
Let's get a
of the
little
Force.
villainous up in here. But yeah, reshoots are a normal part of the movie business. But they are treating these reshoots like it's something different. The media outlets are and such. And you almost get the sense that there is something different. And in fact, Disney has come back out and added some clarification that there are some sources close that say that Disney executives were not happy with the first cut of Star Wars Rogue One. Now, those of you not familiar, Star Wars Rogue One is the new movie coming out this December. It's completely separate from the Skywalker timeline, and it's independent, and it's set before Episode 4. It's directed by Gareth Edwards, and pretty much my understanding is that it's a war movie. It's based loosely on Dirty Dozen, which was an old-time World War II movie with like Lee Marvin and Charles Bronson and a bunch of people. And essentially it's about sneaking in and stealing the plans for the Death Star. And so that's what it's about. And so apparently they're not happy with the first cut. And ooh, fried. And rumor has it that they confirmed that the reshoots are aimed at getting it felt like it was too much of a war movie, and the reshoots are aimed at making it a little bit more lighter and have more of a Star Wars feel to it. Oh, take it, Han. You're dead, bro. Dead, Solo. So, anyways, what was I saying? Oh, yes. So they're looking for like a lighter, they're trying to inject fun into this movie. So this sends off a lot of bells in my mind, because it's basically saying that they didn't like Gareth Edwards' initial approach, is my interpretation of it, and that he probably approached this as a war movie. And if it indeed is a basically takeoff of Dirty Dozen, Dirty Dozen is a film that it's got light moments, especially in the beginning, and you start to kind of care about these characters, but it is a suicide mission. And in suicide missions, people die. And so characters you cared about die in the film. And it gets a bit tragic at points, you know? So if Gareth Edwards styled it in this vein, I have no doubt that he was going for something a little bit, a little bit more dark. A little more dark than what we get from like a normal, typical Star Wars movie. And I, for one, am all for it. man, let's do something different. Let's get away from the Skywalkers. Let's do something. Let's do something dark. Let's do something. Oh, double plasma kill. Yes, that was the bomb. But yeah, I'm really stoked about this movie. And then hearing Disney come in and ask for it to be lighter and to change the tone, that makes me a little nervous. Now, this could sometimes studio interference is a good thing, and sometimes it's a bad thing. But the fact that they're going for the lighter tone, when I heard that, immediately I was like, oh shit, I can just hear the fucking boardroom executives, and I can just hear them going, Batman versus Superman. We don't want another Batman versus Superman. We don't want a Batman versus Superman. People don't really like dark. We don't want that. You know, we can't have those kind of bad reviews. And that brings me in to my topic full fold, which is, holy fuck, what are we doing to fucking games and to movies in general, and who's fucking worse for them, the fanboys or the critics? Whoa! Vader, you lived through that. Nice. So yes, that's the magic question. And this question has popped up into my mind. Oh man, this is back in the day when you could throw grenades through shields. That was awesome. Fucking double nade kill. But on topic, who's worse? Fanboys or critics? Who's fucking shit up more? And like as I was saying, this question popped up in my mind earlier this year because I've had two franchises, the rebirth of Battlefront, thus the Battlefront clips, and basically Batman versus Superman. And both of them just got ripped critically and ripped by lots of fanboys. And they're both things I actually thought were pretty good. I mean, pretty good. Definitely B ratings and such. And now, Batman vs. Superman, I'll have a whole review of that. And I don't want to delve too much into it and my defense of it. I will have post a very big defense review. We got the news out. Blu-ray will be released July 19th, digital HD at the end of June. So I probably at this point I'm going to wait for it. I've downloaded Injustice. I'm putting some clips. I'll put some clips together, and I've been making notes for a while about what I want to say. I'm going to do a very in-depth defense against Batman versus Superman, but like those videos are popping up all over YouTube, and partially maybe that's because my algorithm. I'm just going to fold a little chicken man in because he's nice and safe. Man, I just fucking took this, guys. What the fuck are you doing? So I will do a more in-depth one. There are videos popping up all over YouTube that essentially are defending that film. And it's partially because I've watched a few of them and now they're coming in my feed, but there's new ones coming into my feed all the time, like more recent ones. I think as time has settled in and people have seen it, people have started to have courage, they're standing up and they're defending that film. And I'm going to go right on the record and say it is one of the best superhero films ever made. Like fucking top 10. Easy, maybe even top 5 superhero films ever made. And I will do a full fucking defense of that film. But here is a film that's got like 78% audience rating on Tomato Meters, but got 29% from Tomato Meter. And the fact is, a lot of people walked out of there. It's not a happy-go-lucky movie. It's not the movie you expect. It's not the movie fanboys expect. And it is not the movie that a happy-go-lucky Marvel movie. It ends sad. And all these motherfuckers who wrote reviews on Ant-Man about the Marvel formula and blah, blah, movies need to do something different and take some chances. When a movie actually did take a chance and had a really rather dark kind of ending and really shook things up and looked at things differently, oh my god, they raped it over the coals. And now everybody's afraid to move. And I'm sure this is what's going on in the Disney boardroom right now. We have this dark Star Wars movie for a change, and they're freaking out. Because by God, they don't want another Batman versus Superman on their hands. Which in time, people are going to actually respect that film. I'm like totally confident of it. I've been wrong about this before, but that's my firm belief. So, people say they don't want the Marvel happy, feel-good formula, but then they get something different and more dark, and oh my God, I felt it was terrible, blah, blah, blah. And they don't know what to do with themselves. Plus, there seems to be like some kind of herd mentality in the press. I'm going to go all into why Batman vs. Superman got ripped in greater detail in my defense thread, but a lot of it I feel like had to do with this is a franchise that people have wanted to see Batman vs. Superman fight for 30 years on the big screen or longer. Really, since if you go back to basically The Dark Knight Returns, which released in the 80s, you already had good Superman films. Then in the late 80s, we got Tim Burton's Batman. And we realized, wow, we can have a Batman and a Superman. Let's let them fight, man. Come on. Bring it on. So people have been talking about this and hyping it up in their brains for 30 years. Same thing with Battlefront. The last Battlefront came out almost 12 years ago. That's how long people have been waiting for it. Most of the people who got it or were excited about it were people who had it when they were kids. People have been thinking about a sequel to this game for 12 years. People had all kinds of things built up in their brain, preconceived notions about what they wanted in a Battlefront game. And hell, there hasn't been a decent Star Wars game in like 12 years. So people are like starving for any kind of Star Wars game. And when people didn't get what they wanted, they threw a gosh damn fucking hissy fit. I mean, you read the reviews and the people slam it for not having single player. Even though EA said there's no single player, people have bitched about it so much that now they're going to make it a single player campaign. DICE isn't even good at making single player campaigns. Why? It's not a game built around single player. The very first Battlefront did not have a fucking single player. But fans... Battlefront 2 did. It had a short, like 3 or 4 hour one, and it got ripped by the critics. People remember the Battlefront 2. Battlefront 1 did not have that shit. Battlefront 2 did, and it was not good. And in fact, it got lower review scores than Battlefront 1 did. And not only that, it sold less copies. And it cost Pandemic the rights. In fact, that one was so much worse than the first Battlefront, that's the reason we haven't had one for 12 years. But people are holding it up, and they built it up in their brains because we played it 12 years ago. Our mind is playing tricks on us. We remember the good stuff. That's nostalgia fucking with you. And that's what's going on, right? And same thing with Batman vs. Superman. People have been thinking about this forever. They built it up in their brains. They have so many ideas about how it can play out. And if you look at all the reviews from Batman vs. Superman, they're a lot like the reviews from Battlefront. When I talk to people who don't like them, in almost every conversation, everyone, it all begins with like, oh, they should have done this. I mean, they'll say some things, they'll repeat things. It goes like this. First, they repeat things that critics have said. Convoluted story, blah, 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 no single player. Then, inevitably, after some conversation, we get to the, well, they should have done this, and they should have done this, and wouldn't this be so much better if they'd done this? Oh, now we're at the heart of it, aren't we? They didn't do what you thought they should do. In your mind, Batman doesn't kill. Like, there's Joshua from IGN, fucking furious. Batman kills. Hell, half the IGN staff furious the Batman kills. They're supposed comic book fans. Batman fucking kills. Batman's killed going way back to the 40s comics. Tim Burton's Batman killed. Batman has killed before. Batman has driven around in fucking tanks. Hell, in The Dark Knight Returns, which is a lot of what this movie is based on, Batman rolls in with a tank and shoots people and blows up all kinds of cars and other tanks and other shit. It's crazy. Now, admittedly, because it's a cartoon, they show that the guys getting hit with rubber bullets. Yet their cars are still blown sky high. But people have it in their minds their Batman doesn't do that, so they're gonna hate this, right? Because it's different, right? It's not what they think. And our preconceived notions by supposed comic book fanboy experts, or preconceived notions by critics, everybody jumped on the bandwagon to hate it. Just like supposed, experts about Battlefront or whatever jumped on the oh, well, this just doesn't do what the old Battlefront did. My fucking ass. Look at Battlefront 1, you motherfucker. It didn't have a campaign. It didn't have a bunch of modes. It didn't have all this shit. So that's what I want to know. At the end of the day, this is kind of what I want to know. Which is ultimately more destructive to our industry, fanboys or critics, because we've got to stop with this, because Battlefront got hurt, its sales got hurt, Batman vs. Superman got hurt. We're probably not going to get another good dark superhero movie for a long fucking time now. They're going to go back to, everybody's going to go to the Marvel formula, and they're all going to be the fucking same. And instead of coming out and defending something new and creative and different and giving us some variety, instead what fanboys and critics did is they bitched and trolled and yelled so loud. Now that everything's going to be fucking vanilla formula. I mean, how Batman vs. Superman has worse scores than Age of Ultron, I have no fucking clue. And I like Marvel. I like Age of Ultron. It's a pretty good movie. But to say that Batman vs. Superman is more convoluted and more fucked up than that movie, where they literally, the main plot is them trying to drop a fucking city on the planet? Are you fucking joking me? Seriously? But that gets a free pass? And what the fuck? It's crazy. Crazy insane. We've got to open our minds, and when somebody presents us with something that's different than what we preconceive, let's try to be open to it instead of attacking it. I mean, a lot of films, and very possibly the new Star Wars, is going to be hurt because of this. Because studios are going to play it safe, and it's because people overreacted. They totally overreacted because they have preconceived notions. Angry Joe lit up Battlefront and Batman vs. Superman. One, he's a huge Superman fan, and when his boy got his ass kicked, he was angry. And the film, if you listen to his review, it's about, oh, it'd have been so much better if they'd done this, and oh, it'd been... He has so many ideas of what they should have done that he can't be possibly open-minded about what they actually did do. You read a lot of the reviews about Battlefront, people are like, oh, it should have had a single campaign, and it should have had prequels, should have done this and that. People had such high expectations of what they wanted it to do that they didn't really judge it for what it was trying to do, which is really just be a multiplayer shooter in the Star Wars universe and give you the feeling of being kind of in that. You know what I mean? I mean, if you look at Battlefront 1 and how Battlefront, excuse me, and how the new Battlefront executed that vision, they took it to the next level where it needed to go. It's very much like Battlefront 1. They really did embrace the core of that game and then elevate it. And that's what it should be judged on. Not on what you wanted and you didn't get what you wanted, therefore you're going to hate the game. Or your Batman doesn't kill. Or I really wanted it to be this way and it wasn't. Oh, it would have been so much cooler if you did this. I didn't get what I wanted, therefore I'm going to hate this movie. I mean, we got to open our minds. And it's, I mean, and yes, stuff that is super hyped does sometimes live up to expectations, like Uncharted 4. But it seems like these things that have long gestation periods are the ones that get slammed the most. It'll be really interesting to see what happens with Ghostbusters. And I, for one, am in huge defense that they chose women. One, because it's good to see women superheroes. But two, that's the only way to break the preconceived notions enough. If they cast 4 men and tried to redo that, it would never live up to the 35-year-old hype. I mean, it's been around forever. It's a cultural phenomenon. People have mentality about what it should be, and people are still going to go in and rape it because they have a vision of what they think Ghostbusters should be. And if it if it falters even the tiniest bit, people are going to eat it alive. And it's wrong. We got to stop doing that, man. We got to be open-minded, get new stuff into society. So, you guys, y'all tell me, do you think fanboys and critics are good for movies and the game industry? Or do you think maybe we're being a little bit overly hard on things? Y'all tell me. This is Lucky signing out. Peace.